This is Mentally Dope. Join us, Charmaine and Jasmine, two Black licensed therapists, as we build a bridge between mental health and Black culture. Come on, it's gonna be dope. What's up, people?
Hey.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're here again, Mentally Dope. I'm Jasmine. This is Charmaine.
That's me.
That's her. How y'all doing? Good. I hope y'all doing good. We are going to talk to you a little bit today about Mr. Kendrick Lamar.
Kdot.
And his new album. Well, you know, his most recent album. We'll say that. I don't know if it's new anymore.
It's relevant.
Right. And so we're going to be overviewing the song Father Time.
Yeah.
And it gets deep, y'all. So come with us here on this journey.
Like, come with us.
Okay, so the overview, the thing that he's talking about is father time is, I think he starts the song by saying, I have daddy issues.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But he's essentially talking about like masculinity, things being passed down from his dad, things that he learned from his dad, and how that was possibly not the best thing or the healthiest thing, but also him learning good things from his dad too, which is kind of like how to heal, how to work through some of this stuff. So we're going to break it down for you a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll give you.
Yeah. So, like, one of the things I think that stood out to me was he literally was, like, giving examples of things that happened to him in his childhood. And the examples, to me, seemed like things that I had seen firsthand or that I had witnessed, whether it's with other people that I know or TV shows or movies, of just, like, different things that dads or parents would do to their kids. Like, for example, he was talking about that he couldn't come in the house unless he like excelled at whatever it was he was learning outside. So if they were practicing like football or basketball or something like that, he couldn't come in the house until he got it right. And mom would be like, "Oh, he's tired." Daddy would be like, "Be quiet. He gonna stay."
That ain't what he said.
Yeah,
but
he gonna stay out there until he gets it right. And I understand that feeling of like. And then he said that as an adult, I don't lose well, and like being able to connect that translation of as a kid, if I lost or didn't get it right, not only could I not come in the house, I'm hot and tired, I need water, like. I can't come in the house, but for two, I potentially got whoopings for not getting it right. So now as an adult, I don't like the idea of losing. This does not work well with me. This is not like I can be second. No, this is the like a either you're gonna get it right and sometimes this even translates into like, you know, fights and stuff like that, neighborhood fights. Don't you come in the house if you lost?
Right. How many of y'all have been through that? That wasn't necessarily my experience, but I've heard many things that be like, if you're going to get into a fight, you're going to win. You're not going to come back in this house if you don't win.
Or you're going to try again.
Right. Or
been there.
There's so many things, which I don't know. I'm trying to empathize. I don't really see the point of that specific thing. I can see the point of some other things. Yeah. But to think about what the negative consequences are from that kind of expectation.
Well, see, so that brings up two sides, because we see the potential root, which, hi, if you guys have not met me or Jasmine, we blame everything on slavery.
Just roll it on the bottom.
It is.
Roll it on the bottom. It all starts with slavery.
I don't care what you say. It's not up for debate. That you see parents who grew up in times where we were considered less than, or like, you know, or like, you know, we had to fight, and weakness was not an option.
It was life-threatening to be Black. Therefore, the way that we parent and raise our kids had to be different. It had to be tougher, maybe, since we're talking about tough love. It had to be less warm and fuzzy and comforting.
Yeah,
and we didn't have the luxury of that.
Because to us, that represents death. Love is gonna get you killed. What was that? Then get what you die trying. Like, love, like we don't do stuff like that. You can't be soft and like you know, letting people push you around and stuff like that, because life will do that enough. So I need you to learn how to handle that here, so that when it happens in life, you know how to handle it out there.
Right. So let's talk about the concept of tough love.
Yeah.
Like, because I think that's what we have been talking about, of just this parenting style that happens with lots of brown folks, but especially Black people, of tough love. That I have to parent you in a way that's going to let you know that the world is not going to coddle you. It's not going to be nice or sweet or kind to you. And there's purpose to that.
Yeah.
Right? I think the intention
yes.
is good.
Intention is good. Impact, maybe not so much.
Right. Exactly. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Right? The intention is, I want to keep you alive. I want you to be here with me. I want you to lead a life that's successful and different from all of the other terrible things that I've seen. Therefore, I need to prepare you for what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Right? Those are good intentions.
Impact?
The impact is something different.
Yeah.
And it creates wounds. It's very hard.
Yeah. Because for one of the things, and one of the things that always is like near to me that bothers me is when we see like a self-soothing type thing that happens because we are not coddled.
What you mean by that?
Or not taken.
What you trying to say?
So one of the examples that Kendrick Lamar says is he says, I learned at a young age when I would fall and scrape my knee to take care of it myself. He says that in like some like words, but he learned to take care of himself. I can't come in with a scraped knee and be like, "Mommy, here's a boo boo. Can you fix it?" Because you're gonna tell me to shut up, stop being weak,
and ain't even all that.
So to go out there and fix it. The hard part about that is that where does my safety and my security then lie? And does it only lie into myself that even my parents, my caregivers tell me, now come here with that little crying mess.
Right.
Whatever
I can't
you
get
have.
what I need emotionally from them. Or I'm not
Especially
supposed to.
at a young age, because imagine, or I don't know if this happened, but like thinking about someone who's 4 or 5 years old and then being told, I don't care about you getting a boo-boo, you better get up there and go out there and play.
Or, parents would be like, I don't care about them tears.
Yeah.
They don't do nothing for me.
I'm 4. So, side note, this is personal. Well, not personal for me. I was getting my hair done one day, and not far from where I was at, there was a barber who was doing hair, and it was a little boy, which was his son, and the little boy's mom was leaving. This little boy could not have been no more than like 3, maybe 4. I'm really gonna say like 3. And the mom was leaving, and the little boy started crying because his mother was leaving, and his dad went off on him. Like, I heard the dad, like, yelling at him, and he was like, stop crying like a little girl. We don't cry like that about nobody leaving us. And I was just like, this baby.
He's a baby.
Shouldn't he be sad?
It's good for him to be attached to whoever his parent is, right?
Should he not be sad that his mother is leaving him? Isn't that a thing that we're supposed to feel? But no, we're not supposed to feel that, because that is weakness. And I don't need you to be weak.
Right. And I think it is the passing down of something like, I'm not able to do this. You also will not be able to do this.
Yes.
So we might as well teach you now.
Yeah.
We might as well get you prepared right now.
Or something that he said that I loved in this song, he said, I never learned how to be a man, so I passed it off as being a gangster. Do we not see that a lot? We see grown men who have never actually learned to be men, but they pass it off as being a thug.
But again, how do we get this way, right? Like, it doesn't just happen overnight. It doesn't just like, whoop, there it is. Like, this is a genetic. I think sometimes people, or maybe society, wants us to believe there's a genetic thing happening in men that means they really just don't have feelings. They really just operate in a different way than other people, and like women or anybody else, right? Like, there is something different about them that they don't need all of the things that everybody else needs. Yeah. They don't have the emotions we have. They don't have the skills. They don't worry about all that stuff.
And we see that in so many. That right there alone is so layered.
And we take it as truth. I think that's also the thing. We take that as if, well, that's the case. Well, he's a man. He doesn't need that. But is that the case, or have we just been taught, or men have been socialized to not have to take responsibility for their emotions, learn about their emotions? They're not asked about their emotions, those kinds of things that prevent people from actually getting in touch with that stuff.
Yeah. And like that brings up a good point too, of sometimes we do not have the language for it because we've never been taught. One of my joys, I guess, of being a therapist is like I have like a little like feeling wheel pillow and working with all of my clients, but especially my Black males, when I hand them the pillow and ask them to like find words that actually identify how you're feeling. And to be honest, like almost every single one that I've worked with, they do not have words to attach what it is to their feelings. So it's not that we don't feel this way, that we don't actually have feelings because we're human, but it's the fact that we do not know how to identify our feelings because we've never been taught.
Right. And because people, society, parents, everybody actively prevents spending time teaching young men how to do that.
And because most parents do not know either.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't teach
there's
you.
This, there's bias that like this little boy doesn't need the same as this little girl.
Yeah.
This little girl needs you to stop. This little girl needs you to take time with her feelings and talk about these things where the boy does not. And that's not true. It's just an assumption, which is why things look the way they look now, right?
Yeah.
That's why like suicide rates are very high, or like it's hard to be in a relationship with a lot of men who haven't done this work because they don't have vocabulary, they don't have a language for this stuff. And again, we're generalizing. That doesn't mean that's the case for everybody everywhere, but it is also a problem. Like we need to start talking about it more.
Yeah.
And so if we're talking about the ways that men learn this kind of thing, it's modeling. They see it with their parents. If you grew up in a family or a Black family specifically, it's literally said, sometimes in so many words or in actions. Right? Of stop crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Right? You ain't got nothing to cry about. You ain't got nothing to complain about.
Yes.
You ain't paying no bills, you ain't doing nothing.
Absolutely.
Right? Which tells you from the jump, your feelings are not important.
They don't matter.
Right? Which again, I don't think that's what parents intend when they're saying these things, but there's messages that we get.
Which once again goes back into intention versus impact. Yeah.
Which also is like society, right? Like when something negative happens, I think Kendrick in the song talks about his dad had to go to work the day after his grandmother, his dad's mom, passed away.
Yeah. And he said that he said that crying wouldn't pay no bills. Which is true.
This is true.
Yeah.
But that also, like, everything goes back to slavery. Should we have a song? We just need a song. Like, just to roll across the screen and just have the song in the background. Slave? No, like the reading rainbow. Like, reading
Take a look. It's in a book.
reading rainbow. It all goes back to slavery. So, but the part of it is like, if you don't have access to the power and the money, you got to take every opportunity to get the money.
Yeah.
Right? And so it does not matter if you got one leg, if you lost your mama, if the house is burnt down, you got to get up and go to work. You don't have time to deal with your emotions, let alone your child.
And it makes sense because I think that, but we're also looking at two sides of like, so yes, we were taught that emotionally that we were different and that we handle things differently, but also being taught that we're less than. As Black and brown individuals. So like when his daddy was like, forget everything else, go out there and get your money, because that's the only thing that you can do to like pull you up a little bit, is to at least have status or at least have finances, which is, hard, because now I'm told that let me put everything to the side and just work on success, which is why I can't come in the house until I figure this out, because...
But I think that's kind of the problem, that there's a lot of don'ts and not a lot of do's.
Yeah.
Right? We're teaching you, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. But then we don't know what to do, because all we know is we can't do these things. We can't express our emotions. We can't confide in people. We can't openly cry. But then now what?
We can make money.
We can make money. We can get up and go to work. We can have relationships or whatever.
But can we have relationships? Because yes, he could, because like he says that too. He says that because he was not able to identify and feel love as a kid, it made him hard for him to identify and feel love as an adult, which is the same for so many individuals, that as soon as someone tries to love you, if you don't know what love feels like, this feels awkward. Like, this is weird. You're making me feel really, really uncomfortable. I don't trust you. Who sent you? Like,
he said if somebody would attach to him, he would likely reject them.
Yes.
This is literally the lyric that he said, which is pretty normal, because nobody taught me what to do. They just taught me what not to do.
Yeah. And I think that we see that not only in romantic relationships, we see that in friendships, we see that in even like in work relationships, and then it just trickles down again into now my parent, now me as a parent doing that to my child. That's the same way of like, I can't show you love because I do not know how to show you love. I can't express love to you because I don't know how to receive and express love to you.
Exactly.
And even like the hard thing is that takes a lot of work because I've ran across individuals who were like, okay, well, I want to be the person who tells my child I love you, but then like just come to them like I love you.
But how?
Yeah, that's weird.
What does that look like? I've never done that. I've never had family to do that.
Yeah.
Like, what do we? How do we make that happen?
Yeah.
How do I all of a sudden do it for my kid? And I've never done it.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that we keep saying. Like, it's just annoying, but we keep saying it. Parents need to do their own work. Not parents, anybody. Doesn't matter. Not just parents. We're just saying parents because they have another generation of people to work on. But everybody need to do their own work. Because you can't teach somebody something that you never learned yourself, right? How you gonna learn algebra? Or how you gonna teach algebra? You never took an algebra class. You never learned it. How you gonna teach your
win
kids?
If you ain't right with me?
Like Lauren told us, okay, how we gonna make it happen? But this is the real deal because like we talk about all the time, we teach kids by modeling.
Yeah.
You cannot model how to be accountable to your feelings, how to even know what you're feeling if you don't know how to do that yourself.
100%.
How can they learn if they don't see you doing it?
Yeah.
And as Black people, a lot of times we're not afforded that ability to learn about our emotions. It is a luxury to learn about our emotions.
And like you said, emotions
shouldn't be, but it is.
Emotions are it's so leveled because it's not only learning about them and figuring them out, but it's also feeling them. There's something so different. Like I said, there's
To be taught how to feel your emotions.
Yes.
It's a whole skill, y'all. That's literally all I do in therapy.
Because you know that there's a difference in between literally if I come to you and I'm just like, love you, Jasmine. I said a word, and it was actually a feeling word. Versus me like actually like giving you that full emotion of like I really really love you. Yeah.
Connection. All of these things, right?
But when you don't have that, that feels so uncomfortable. Even like me like you look in your eyes like ooh, why are we doing this? So like being able to identify,
which makes me think we need to talk about attachment too. But we'll get there. Not today, but we do need to talk about attachment.
But I think that like he even sprinkled out a little bit with the whole like scraping anything because he was saying I'm not attached to my parents enough to go to them for my safety and security. I go to me. So it's still like there is levels. Sprinkle in just a little bit of attachment attachment starts at a very very young age. Sometimes it even starts in the womb
at the beginning.
So if you have a child that comes out and you're already on this whole my child needs to learn how to self-soothe, you're breaking this attachment bond really really early.
You're doing your best at attachment. Like there's more that can be done, right? Because I think especially in the Black community, there's like you can spoil a kid, you can pick him up too much, you're babying that kid, right? He's gonna grow up and he's gonna. I mean, there's a lot of things. So there's a lot of verbiage used, but like the baby's gonna be a punk, or like they're just not gonna be able to do whatever they need to do. Because you're coddling them too much because the world looks the way that it looks, right? And we're here to tell you.
Intention. Makes sense. We don't want our child to grow up like that.
We understand.
But the impact of I want to teach my child that they cannot depend on me because I need them to depend on themselves.
But healthy kids have healthy attachment and they are able to be independent, right?
Yes.
The healthier your attachment is, and I hope that I'm breaking that down enough, right? The better attached your kid is or that you are to your caregiver, the more independent you can be later in life. It actually does the opposite of what we think it's going to do.
100%. Secure attachment does not mean that you're going to be the little kid in the corner crying every day.
But secure attachment does mean that you're going to be able to go out and have healthy relationships and know that you have an attachment that is healthy at home, right? That needs to be first and foremost so that you can create kids who can go out and like thrive in life.
Yeah. Agreed. So yeah.
How do we know that unless we figure it out or learn,
Yeah. So yeah, another video, another song.
Oh, okay.
From Kendrick Lamar that we absolutely love. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for how much work and how much vulnerability that this took for him to make this album and to like drop these songs like this that were such deep dives into his life and into how much that he was going to. And so shout out to him.
Yeah, and do you relate? Like I feel like on some level we all can relate this. We're talking about men or men identified people, but on some level, I think we all had an experience like this or close to this, because that's just the way it is, right? When we talk about how like trauma in a people can look like culture. This looks like Black culture, but is it really our culture, or is it just that we've all been traumatized in a very similar way? And so we can all kind of relate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
People.
Once again, trying to stay mentally dope.
Trying. Good luck out there, people.
So,
do your own work, okay? Find your therapist.
Yes. Find your tribe, find your community, all those things.
All of it.
So, as always, like, subscribe, leave some comments, tell a friend, share with a friend. And we'll get you guys next time.
Stay mentally dope.
All right.